Hello and welcome to the Top Gun Aerospace Academy. This is Stuart, StratoCast Level 3, and I thought it'd be interesting to replay a little scenario we had at the weekend in our tabletop campaign of me and Neil Duke Sealand. You might see him on Discord. And we had a situation where a Leopard had just taken off from an airfield. The Leopard was working for the Morningstar Assault Group under contract from the Duchy of Andurian in 3032. And the Big Mac, the McLaren's Armored Cavalry, were attacking the planet. And we have 4 warrior helicopters here who were spotting for artillery to bring down the rain onto dropships on the runway. And so the Leopard had taken off first and was trying to shoot down the warriors. So we'll see how that plays out. We've set the warriors up as they were with skills 2, 3, 3 and 4. And the skill of the dropship was 4-3, 4 gunners and a 3 pilot. And we're going to set this in motion. One rule to make sure you've got correct here, if we go to game options here that I've put on, is in the RPG related, don't have individual initiative ticked. If you do, what happens is Aerospace gets mixed into the same initiative as everyone else, which is a bit of a bug. Aerospace always moves last. And then if we go to the advanced aerospace rules, I've also enabled StratoPast advanced atmospheric control rules, which means that atmospheric control rules only occur where damage taken from a unit exceeds the threshold. Now, that's really important for dropships because they've got quite big hulls, so quite big thresholds, and otherwise one single shot would cause a Leopard to make a control roll. So that actually makes quite a difference. I've loaded the warriors with flak ammunition as well in their AC2s, so they've got AC2s and SRM4s. So we're going to see how this works and how the Leopard can maneuver around on the low altitude map. I'm going to click I'm done. Now when we played this, we actually played it on the low altitude map. We're going to play it on the ground map here because of course you can't mix low altitude and ground maps in MegaMek. So here's the minimap, and we're going to set our deployment to any side. We're going to come in from the sides here, just like in Aerospace. I'm going to set my altitude to 5, and I'm going to turn to face this way. And straight away I can see a target here. So of course they're going to move first. And the key interesting thing is not just strafing once, is what happens as we try and turn around. So they will move first, and let's try and buzz over the top of them. So I've got one that should be a pretty easy target. So I'm going to accelerate to 2. So by accelerating to 2, that gives me 32 movement points. Now dropships turn slightly slower. So if you look at the book, we can see here that dropships at speed 2 can only turn once get a free turn every 16 hexes. So you can see there I can have a turn over after 8 or with thrust, or I can have a turn over 16, and that can make things difficult. I'm a 4-6, so I've got 4 thrust to spend, so I've spent 2 to accelerate, and I'm going to go to here. I'm going to spend a point of thrust to turn. So that's 3 points of thrust, I think. Oh, interestingly, it's only cost me 2. That's interesting. And if I turn here, that cost me 3 points of thrust. So if I do that again, so I'm at velocity 0, so I go to velocity 1, velocity 2, and at velocity 2, there I've got a change. I can change there, go all the way up to here. I've actually got a free change here. So this is actually a free change because I've moved 16 hexes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Oh, and the one that I'm coming in on counts 16 then. And then I can use a thrust point. Now this is where the low altitude slightly differs from high altitude. So low altitude and ground, because in low altitude you can only change facing once per hex moved. So you can't spend thrust unless effectively you are moving 2 hexes. So it's a weird kind of conflict between the ground map rules and the low altitude map rules. But that does allow me to do a little bit of a turn. I'll spend my last thrust point to turn that way. And keep turning is vital in this. So I'm going to click move. Now this is where it's going to become quite difficult to shoot, because I've got to be able to shoot these down. If I click on here, I've got +4 to hit because of the TNM on the Warrior, +2 for a strike mission, and +1 because it's a VTOL, so that's +7. So that's going to be 11s. But I can bring to bear quite an array of firepower here. Can PPC, can leave the LRM bays, going to fire laser, can't do the right side bay because that's right side. Not, I should be able to do the right side bay because I'm going straight over it. So why I can't do the right side bay, I don't know. Heat exceeds capacity. That's why. So in this, I can't fire more heat than I've got. It doesn't seem to follow the heat rules. So that still gives me quite a lot of weapons, because that gives me 2 PPCs. I've got 3 medium lasers on the nose, and then the left side I've got 2 large lasers and a medium laser. And that heat is 60. So I can add the LRM bays in as well, because those are heat 6. So fire the LRM bay on the nose, and I've got the LRM bay on the left side, which is 6, and the LRM bay on the right side, which is 6. That brings me to, yeah, again, it's still not allowing me to do right side for some reason. Not entirely sure why it's not letting me do right side. It's saying heat build up exceeds capacity, but I'm on 60 heat, so not sure what's going on there. And aft doesn't allow me to fire, because when you're doing strike missions you can only fire the front weapons. So interesting bug there. Not sure what's going on there about why I can't fire the right side weapons, but let's fire. And so I'm going to need 11s. So I get hit by, that's a lucky flat kit. He rolled a double 12 to hit, so he actually caused damage to a flight vehicle bay door. So they're getting -2 to hit me because of flak ammunition. They get +2 to hit me from the side, but then this one actually gets a head-on attack against me. The other ones would get side attacks against me. So if I click here for 7, free gunnery, +2 attack around, +2 attacking inside, +2 medium range. Because I'm at altitude 5, so that counts as 10 range plus their range to me, -2 for flak. But I missed on everything on 11s, which wasn't surprising. So we're going to skip through. Going to make the map a little bit bigger, so it's easy to see what's going on. And it's time for me to move now, so I can't change for the first 7. I'm on speed 1 now, so that would only give me 16, so I could change direction there, but that's not going to give me much in the way of a chance to catch up with them. So I'm really going to need to pile on some speed and go to speed 3. So, because I'm currently at velocity 1, so I need to put on 2 accelerations, 1, 2. I'll need to use a point of thrust to change direction there. And then I want to get into this line here. Not going to be able to get into that line, so let's do that again. So I'm going to spend 2 accelerations to get to speed 3, go to there, change direction. I can spend a point of thrust to change direction there, and head up to here. Now, if I spend a point of thrust to change direction, what happens, as you see, is it costs me half, because my velocity is 3, it costs me half the velocity rounded up. So that's not going to work. So I'm going to accelerate twice. 1, 2, go here, and then I'm going to have to, I can't actually get to the point there where I will get a free turn. So let's try something different. Let's try accelerating once to get my velocity to 2. That gives me 24 movement. Also means I get a free turn every 16 hexes. I still won't get one before I go off the map. So I'm going to have to take a thrust turn there, but now it only costs me 1 to do a thrust turn. And now I can go up the map, get to here, and I am just 1 short. That's the infuriating thing about MegaMek. So is there another target I could go for? I could go for this one if I could get there fast enough. So interesting problem here, how you actually navigate on this map. So accelerate twice. One, two. And that already used up all my thrust. So that's really not going to be the answer. So I'm not going to get an attack this turn on them. And that's probably what would happen on what we found happened on a low altitude map, because it just takes time to turn around. So I'm just going to hit accelerate once, and I'm just going to get into a position where I could attack better next turn. So accelerate once, go to here, use a thrust point there to change direction, and at least next turn I could be in a good position there to do that. And I could also take the opportunity as well, while I'm here, to go up 1, which is going to put my altitude back to 5, and that puts me onto 5, which is unsafe thrust, but my structural integrity is 7, so that's not above my structural integrity, so that's no need for a piloting skill roll. It would give me a +1 to hit if I was attacking this turn. I'm not going to fire. I don't think there's any shots against me this turn. Oh, a couple. A couple of them got shots at me, but missed. Oh no, 1 hit. Chipped away some armor on the right side. 128 remaining. There is a lot of armor, but if they do get double 6, it can be a real problem. So we found on the low altitude map, we could attack every other turn. And I've got a nice opportunity to attack here because I've already moved at least 16 hexes forward. So I can quite easily line myself up for an attack onto this guy here. Oh, not really that easy actually, because I'm 1 short. but I can do it on this guy here. So this aerospace fighter can attack me on the side. This one will be able to attack me on the side. And this one can attack me on the side. So they're all going to attack me this turn. This one from the nose. So I'm going to have the same problem firing this time. I've got left side. I can't find my right side LRM bay or my right side laser bay. Even though it only says 60 heat. And that only adds 12. I'm not too sure what's going on there. So they all get shots on me. Hits a few more, and I miss everything again. Now to be fair, I only need to get one decent shot on these guys for them to go down, but their dice just aren't rolling this time. So the helicopters have moved, and now it's my turn to move. I'm going to accelerate 1, and I can quite easily go after this guy here. And because I'm only moving velocity 1, that means that I get a free turn every 8 hexes on the low altitude map, which doesn't really be quite maneuverable, considering when you're on the high altitude map you can only change 1 hex side for every hex, which is the equivalent of a whole map sheet. And I can even do an extra turn at the end here because I've moved 8. Can I? No, it won't let me do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I've only moved 6. But if I go up, that's helpful. Click on go up. Click on accelerate first, click on go up. Go to there, have a turn for free. That should still be fine. You could go back a bit. There we go. And next turn I only have to move 1 hex to get a free turn. Then I'm still hitting on 11s because they're moving at their maximum target movement modifier. So interesting bug. I'm going to report that one back. That's just not letting me fire right side bays even though I've got heat capacity to do it. This little window, by the way, if you press Control T, it gives you a list of everything that's happened in that turn, which is particularly useful for movement in aerospace. And there we go. Have we landed a hit? Still no hits. These are elusive choppers. Off they go up the table. So I'm gonna hit accelerate twice. I want to catch up with them. Actually, accelerate twice is a really bad idea because that'll take me off the map, so I'm gonna have to accelerate once. So I can get my turn after 8 hexes of movement. I'm going to go up 1 to get my altitude back, because every time you do a strike mission you drop 1 altitude. I don't think I'm going to get into range of them this turn, so let's just follow them as much as I can. Now I could click at this point evade to help me avoid fire. That will cost me an extra thrust, or 2 thrusts I think for yeah, 2 thrusts for a dropship, 1 thrust for a fighter. I get a couple of attacks on me, both miss. You can see the evade effect there. That target's evading +2, attack against the nose, and long range. AC2's got a range of 16 and I'm at 5 +7, so that's 17 range. So let's track this one down. Here we go, we can get a nice attack on this one. So I like the way what they're doing is they're moving and then they're turning so they can get me in their arc. So I'm in arc for this one, but not this one. I'm in arc for this one. We had to kind of fudge this when we were doing this because we played it in an abstract way and we said that they all got a shot, but in reality here only some of them are getting a shot. And I'm going to fire the same weapons package here. Look at those rolls, not 111. And they're heading up the table. Should make them a nice easy target. In actual fact, to make it myself harder to hit, what I could do is turn earlier. So I present a side shot for that one. I'm almost getting a shot every turn in this, so it's actually kind of slightly better to do this on the ground map than it was on the low altitude map where I was only getting a shot every other turn, or my the player that was playing in the campaign was only getting a shot once every other turn and taking 1 turn to turn around. Also just going to screenshot this for a little bug report to see what's going on here. Oh, and that's what I'm looking at. So 1 shot is enough to take them down. So we got a, what did we hit it with? A PPC. A PPC will punch straight through. but it still missed everything else. So there you go. I think that's a little demonstration. I won't go and destroy the other 4, but it's taken me 7 turns to destroy 1 warrior, and to actually then destroy all 4 would take quite a number of turns. But saying that, they're not going to outrun me because they're just going to keep going and I'm going to keep following them. And so unless someone came to the rescue of the warriors, that could be quite dangerous. It shows you what the power of aerospace can be. So against some targets, aerospace fighters can be deadly. And if you don't have air cover, and at this point in the campaign, both my opponents' aerospace fighters had retired from the battle with excessive damage. So the only thing he had up in the air was dropships. And all of my aerospace fighters had died. Amazingly, he'd killed 4 of them, and 2 of them had died in ground attack missions. 2 Chippewas had died, being shot down by anti-aircraft fire from LRM carriers and AC-5 partisans firing flak ammunition. Shows you the effectiveness of that. So air superiority, really important in campaign games where you're playing this, because if you get a single isolated unit, it could be a big issue. One of the funniest things that happened in the game was a lone Savannah Master escaped a battle and then tried to get into a line of sight on the what we call the strategic map to spot for artillery, and Neil's aerospace fighter just flew over it once, hit it with 1 hit, caused it to have in it an automotive crit, and immobilized it, and it was going along a river, so it sank to the bottom of the river. So there we go. The power of aerospace and the power of air superiority in games like this. And this would be almost just as dangerous if this was something like a Stingray or a Lightning or something like that. Although dropships do have an awful lot of weapons. Till next time, fly safe.